there, my beautiful sacred hearts, the awakened ones. I'm Monica Bermudez, an intuitive quantum energy healer. It is September. Wow, we're already in September of 2022. New energies, new updates coming in, and I'll share some of the astrological events for this month and how all of that ties in with the month of September and the energies and the channeling from the Sacred Heart and how all of that ties in. The latest report on the energy and 5 things you should know about this month of September. And also stay tuned because towards the end of the video there's going to be a mini oracle card reading to talk about the whole theme of September and pretty much wrap it up in that energy and what we're getting into for this month. So the big theme for September, there's 3 themes actually that I've been tuning in to this energy, and some of it feeling the previews from the end of August. So there's definitely about managing our energies and staying balanced and releasing certain toxic situations as well as relationships or any people in our lives that are no longer serving us. So it's a sign of completion because September is the number 9, and 9 in numerology is a symbol of completing cycles. So definitely ending any toxic patterns, but there's also some new beginnings. When there's an ending cycle, there's a new beginning, and all of this will be leading into October energy and the rest coming towards the end of 2022 as well. In August, as a review, we had some really powerful energy, starting with the Lionsgate portal energy that peaked on August 8th. And those who were with me at the Lionsgate portal activation for the group knows how powerful this energy was. And comment below if you were one of the ones who were in the group, and just type 88 and what you experienced and what you've been feeling as well from that activation. But personally, what I've been feeling is that things have been accelerated as far as the whole manifestation, the quantum changes around my life and the timelines shifting and collapsing at an accelerated pace. So shifting the realities in different ways, and I've really been feeling time very different. Yeah, so time has been feeling very different. For some reason, like August to me felt like it was a year long. For some, it may feel like it was super accelerated, and so it's just going to vary, right, per person. So, then to end it in August, we had, of course, this very powerful new moon that I felt was a new moon for the rest of the year. And the ceremony that I had for the new moon was very powerful. There were some serious timeline shifting. For those who were a part of it, really felt some extreme intensity in that because we had the Arcturians come in, and I channeled the Arcturians who did some serious timeline shifting. And that was my first time actually channeling them. And as the Arcturians are known for the timelines. And so I feel like things have really adjusted within myself, that in my life, all the things that I set into motion, into an intention, have really accelerated and gone into this motion of manifestation. And so I've been connecting a lot more with my soul tribe, which was one of my biggest, intentions that I've been setting. And I felt that really shifted a lot in that energy. So towards the end of August and wrapping that up, leading into the September's, new energy. So astrologically speaking, for review of September and some of the astrological events occurring at this time, is that in this month, we're going to kick off with Mercury retrograde starting on September 9th to like October 2nd or so. And depending on your time zone, it could be October 2nd or it could be October 3rd. So Mercury retrograde, when any planet goes into retrograde, that usually means about going within. So that's really the message. It's about us going more so within, trusting our intuition, trusting what changes are coming up, and navigating with so much more strength, using our own intuitive tools to help us navigate through these changes. So we are really being asked to really trust our intuitive side and really tapping more so within. And so that is, the message of this Mercury retrograde as well, because Mercury is a planet of communication. It's a communication that is internal to us. Internal communications with our own higher guidance in our own higher self to help us go through these different timelines and stepping more into our future self. Because when we are manifesting things, setting the intention, we're setting this intention of something that we are desire of, in the future. But in the future is also part of the present moment, which is why when we focus the intention in the present moment, it's really already manifested. So it is a matter of us really stepping into that and listening to our own inner guidance and being into that alignment of that intention for its quantum manifestation into its changes that are going to be into fruition, into shifting our timeline, into shifting our reality and our situation and any relationship we may find ourselves into on the things that we desire, that we set into motion. And so of course, with this, there's some level of action that goes with it too. So with starting off September, right, the first half being Virgo is really about being practical and being organized and being also an action taker in some ways. So really getting these actions to be grounded and put with so much intention and practicality in them. And then the other part of the month is Libra, because Libra is about the balancing of the scales. So there's something to do with the balancing as well. So we also have, during that Mercury retrograde, we're going to have this, powerful full moon as well, that's going to peak on September 10th. And so as every full moon is all about releasing. So, perfect time to release any of completing cycles, any old contracts that no longer serve us. So during the time of the Mercury retrograde, we may be reviewing our past lives and our contracts that we feel we have fulfilled and are completed and done with. And so what better time to use that full moon energy to help us release that with ease. And then from there, towards the end of September, on September 25th, we have the new moon. And the new moon will be in Libra, which we will be setting intentions in a balanced way during the new moon. So I started a new moon monthly series. So every new moon, I will be having certain ceremonies and rituals and setting intentions as a group and doing light language transmission at every one of those. So I invite you to join the circle. It's the circle of quantum conscious creators, where we come together and quantum and consciously create with intention and focus on what it is that we want to manifest in our lives. And so the ceremony will be on Sunday, September 25th, during the time that the new moon will peak in its energy. So look for the links in the description if you feel called to join this new moon ceremony, which is already very powerful for the first one that launched in August. So you're welcome to come and join for this one, for the new moon in Libra. So jumping into the 5 things you should know about this month of September. Number 1 is that there's ending karmic and ancestral patterns and contracts, the ones that no longer serve us. So we're really breaking those cycles and really looking at it, using this Mercury retrograde to really look at those karmic contracts that we may have had or set in motion, well, that already were, in motion as part of us in our soul essence. And as part of, being, before being incarnated, we had, made a decision to focus on certain karma rebalancing, where we felt we would reset this karma or end this pattern in some areas that are very specific to us. And so you would know what that is. And you, in your heart, which, I was emphasize the heart, to really focus on the heart first, because in the heart is where, you start to focus and ask yourself, what are these karmic cycles that you're ready to really end and complete? And, some of these are also linked to certain relationships that we have in our life. And some of them could be toxic and not suitable for us. And so it comes to a point where we say that this is where I end this cycle and I am done with this karmic cycle and pattern to what, is occurring in my life. So pattern is, something that is repeated over and over again. It's like a broken record, a repetition. And the ancestral, generational trauma, karmic, cycles are, these patterns that we also carry within ourselves when we are born, that we take on from our parents and our parents' parents. And so if there's been any form of trauma in that family, we have a tendency to carry that in our cells and in our DNA and in our morphic, bodies itself of energies. And so there's, a time that I'm feeling that this is, a cycle of completion that we are also completing with that as well. And so speaking of ancestors, towards on September 23rd, actually, which is like 2 days before the new moon, I'm going to be on the Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love podcast show to talk about the ancestors and a message to humanity, where I will have a conversation with Dr. Farish. And we're going to deep dive into a lot of the ancestors and their messages to humanity and get into some of the energy transmissions wisdom as well. And we're also going to have Saint Joan of Arc, who is an ascended master. So I'll be talking about Joan of Arc, and she's going to have her message as well, who wanted to come to deliver this special message to us now. And it's such an appropriate time to have it, because I was really feeling called to deliver this message to everybody in regards to the ancestors. And it is perfect for this month because of the completing cycles and ending whatever we need to end with these generational traumas and just break that cycle. So number 2 is feeling, okay, this is going to be really interesting what I was feeling on this one. But this one is feeling a lot of sexual energy. So sexual energy is actually a really creative force of energy, coming from the sacral area, the sacral chakra. I was really feeling into this energy of creative force, which is all linked to manifestation. And I feel that it is like linked to the August, Lionsgate portal and the new moon energy. And all this creative force of like build up of creative energy, which means that it's also birthing like new ideas, new beginnings, and new projects. And it just has like all this potential to it. And in a way though, when we are in the retrograde, like a Mercury retrograde, we are kind of like in this void as well, because we're in a period of review and revisit. And so we are in that period of also being renewed and recreated. And it's, bringing up all this creative energy and ideas that are just ready to be burst. And so I definitely was feeling this a lot. So in that, sexual energy as well, there is this creative, attractive energy as well. But it is, like an attractive force of energy linked into energy in the law of attraction type universal energy. So that's what I've been feeling for the month of September. So it may also mean that somebody's going to have babies too, but if it doesn't resonate for you, it's not. But I feel like for the majority of the part, it is about birthing new ideas, new beginnings, and new projects. And that's what I've been feeling with that. So number 3 is, going through these extreme changes. So what this means is that I'm feeling that there's going to be a lot more intense activations and upgrades. So when we go through these activations and these upgrades with these energies, new energies that are coming into the earth to, as part of the ascension, that, there's a point of us also that wants to rest and sleep, get more rest, because there's a lot of work that goes on in ourselves when we are being upgraded, because it's going through these transformational changes. And when they're going through these transformational changes and activating other areas of us, receiving more light codes and more energy codes, then this also is creating a lot of changes in our body and ourselves. And it does have a rippling effect on the outside world too. And so we will find ourselves with certain changes in our situation, where we'll find ourselves, we no longer resonate with a certain area anymore. We no longer resonate with these people anymore. So there's going to be some really serious, extreme, and accelerated changes as well. And so with that, it's going to be this extreme awakening too, is what I was feeling. It's going to be like this accelerated and extreme awakening that's going to happen. So this number 4, by the way. And I feel like this will have a rippling effect for the rest of 2022. So with those extreme changes, it's also going to trigger some of the extreme awakening in us individually, but also in the collective as well. And so the number 5 is, keeping this is a maintenance of balance. So balancing our energies, because with these extreme changes and all these things coming up and extreme awakenings, that, we'll feel a bit chaotic at times. So we will need to just keep ourselves as grounded as we can and balance our energies. And the way to balance our energy is through our own heart center and, tuning into ourselves more often as we can with all these changes and navigating through all of that at this time. So I want to share this mini oracle card reading for you to sum up everything that was just pretty much talked about, and to talk about this month of September in itself. And I pulled this card from the Starseed Oracle card, and I'll post an image on here of it. But the card that came up was about taking baby steps, which is so appropriate, right? We were just talking about this. And the baby steps, it says, take action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. So I felt like I needed to read from the book in itself on this, right, what it said, because it's very appropriate for September and everything that I just shared and talked about. So you're being called to take grounded action in response to your soul's calling, to start where you are and begin building in a consistent way. So many people stop themselves from living a soul-led life because they're waiting to know the destination before taking the first step. But intuition doesn't work like that. Our soul is always calling us every moment of every day. And the way to find yourself living in harmony with the cosmos is to listen to your soul's baby calls and whispers each and every day, and to take grounded action in the direction of those calls and whispers. You're being encouraged to start small, bite-sized, to put one foot in front of the other, to do one thing every day, to break things down into achievable tasks. So this is coming from the Starseed Oracle card by Rebecca Campbell. And I just read, a really small excerpt that I felt was very appropriate for this message of September. And so, personally, when, in personal life, like I was sharing with, my mother, who is going through some extreme challenges. And you know, when you have like these really big problem, big challenge, right? It's overwhelming for sure. You know, I've been there myself. But the advice that I gave was this: break it down into smaller components. Little, and so it's appropriate message for this to say into baby steps. So if you want to like manifest something really big, you know, break it down into those baby steps till you get to that point. And you know, just in the process of that, just take care of one thing at a time, and not necessarily just get overwhelmed by looking at this really big huge problem that's in the way, like this big boulder, you know, like rock that's in the road. I was getting this image of this huge rock that's in the road, and you just don't know how to get around that rock. You know, you're like in your own pace on this road, and then you run into this huge rock that's just in the way. So what do? Is just take those baby steps, right? And it could be like the small steps. You could probably try to like find a way to get around it, even if you have to like kind of inch your way kind of around it for now. But you know, the moment that you do take even those small steps and those baby steps, the universe will also provide you with some of those quantum support. And that is what I feel, because we are quantum leaping, and these quantum energies are giving us the opportunities for these quantum shifts in our timelines when we use the energy, when we tap into our higher self and our own higher guidance within our own heart center. We are being supported one way or another. So there's going to be a lot of, you know, shadow and also a lot of light, but it's balancing those two energies and keeping that maintenance in them. And so this is the message for the month of September. Thank you for being on this video with me and watching. So if you enjoy it, please click like, subscribe, or share, you know, and I'll be providing some more energy reports and messages about the ascension, the awakening, and more videos on my YouTube channel, and as well as sharing some other guided meditations and solfeggio music on my channel as well. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon. So I am sending you all so much love. Bye for now.